I wanted to make this video about Ea and the relations of the Anunnaki to other stories, kind of in depth and longer. But after looking through 73 different recordings over a 2-week period, it's just too much. And so many people have no idea about any of these things in the first place. So I'm assuming that people are able to at least use their brain and see patterns and start to recognize that things are not just coincidence the way they're used in the specific ways they're being used. I'll give it a short summary. Ea is another name for Enki. Then there's Enlil. And the other of the triad is known as An or Anu, which is supposed to be the sky god. So from the sky god, all the rest of it happens. Enlil is said to be the creator of wind, storms, and world order. Enki, or Ea, is said to be the god of creation, wisdom, and waters. And then when you get more into it, they also include fertility, which is obviously another part of creation. One of the most prominent differences between Enlil and Enki, or Ea, is that they are both given credit to be creators of the world or creators of humanity. Except Enlil is looked at as the dominant ruler and authority figure, and Ea, or Enki, is more of the compassionate and divine wisdom figure. So when you take that into consideration and think that Ea, or Enki, is the compassionate and loving, and then you look at where that appears in the Bible and see that these things are meant to help humanity become better by seeing and understanding what it means behind the words, then you can actually see that these stories are parallel. They just have a lot of different details because different times, different periods, and different eras are going to tell their stories differently based on what they know and what they're used to. And real quickly, before I go into the specific words used in the first chapter, it's important to really think about the fact that a lot of people who are scholars or scholarly in nature don't really have a complete logical way to explain these things, because a lot of times it's impossible to have enough detail or information about what they're talking about. They can only take and pick from what they know in order to give some kind of hypothesis. It's hard to try to live in a world where your belief systems or your preferences are based on logic only. Things are going to change, and not everything can be completely calculated from the details that we, at this point in time, can take in. Whether or not there are billions of different ways to look at something, it doesn't mean it's going to be understood completely. But when I show how these things actually interchange through language, which is what we use to explain these details, whether they're mental or physical apparatuses, there's no way that this could be possible without having accuracy. And I ask people who approach things logically to really look at this, because it may change their mind about listening to all these people who talk so scientifically, because all you got to do is learn the jargon and get paid off. And a lot of times, I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of times that does happen. Right off the bat, the fifth word is created. The first verse is, "In the beginning God created heaven and the earth." The word created, the word heaven, and the word earth all have EA. Then, the first day itself doesn't, but the second day is where the firmament is divided and then called heaven. The third day, we have dry land appear, called earth, and the gathering together of the waters called seas. On the fourth day, the lights in the firmament of the heaven divide the day from night. We use them for signs and seasons, days and years. We have seasons and years. On the fifth day, we have the moving creature, we have the great whales, but then we have the fact that these are being done in the earth and seas, and we also have the beast on the sixth day. Then on the sixth day, after the man is said to have dominion over all of these things, including the beast, the things of the seas, the things of the earth, we finished it off by saying what we should have for meat. All of these words have EA in them. So now I'll break each one down and show how it ties into meaning something to do with either the mind and wisdom or the emotions and the waters. And after that, I'll show you some of our everyday common words and show you how they still apply in that way. Because this is universal, whether it's in any certain holy book or not. So first we have the word create. C is the constant to itself, the unseen, or the concept. R is a reference, or it's active here. E, expression. A, active or activation. T, to any or plus. E, an expression. So if you are a constant or unseen concept, referenced or active here, expressing the activation to any expression, that's the word create. And that comes from Ea, being the God of creation, wisdom, and waters. Now, heaven is where we separated the firmament, which is of the mind. And let's think of this still another division of creation. And we have heaven, then earth. Heaven is the here expressed active, vital, expressed notion or nature. Earth goes down a level. Instead of starting with an HEA, it's just EA. It's the expressed active reference plus here, or to any here. The word season has the word sea in it, which has something to do with emotions or waters. A season is a subject expressing active, then a subject ongoing notion. If you listen to it, it sounds like seas and on, which would mean stop and go. And in the same way, SEA followed by SON, where O is 15, which would be AE. So you'd go SEA, SAEN. So it's the notion of going up and down through a season. The word year is the vitally identified, or the vital identity, expressing an active reference or action here, which is the cycle of the sun on Earth. So it's the vitally identified, or the sun in this case, in a cycle on Earth. Ea. All those have to do with creation. In the same way, we go into the great lights and the greater lights, and then the great whales, which is a generated or grouped reference or active here, expressing active plus. And it's the great whales because they're the generated and grouped reference or active here in the water, to any or plus. And this indicates the emotions, wisdom, or truth. Then back out of the water onto the earth, we have the beast. That's the base expressed active subject plus. The beast. Along with the earth, we had the seas, subject expressing action. It can be the sea of emotion or the sea of water, which in these cases represents the emotions. Then after all that, we're given the meat, the manifest, expressed, active plus. When something has come to you that feeds you, and we're talking about the minds or the emotions. When you meet somebody, MEET, that's to manifest expression upon itself to any. When you MEAT something, you manifest expressed action or active to any. So whatever grows from those fruits bearing seeds is what you eat for meat, coming from the mind or coming from creation or coming from the waters, which, like I said, in these depictions or in these stories represent the emotions and the wisdom. Since it's all part of the mind, and this is all a cosmic story, the first 7 days go around in a circle because 7 is severed and even. I hope that sums up things, since we're dividing the heavens and the earth and the seas, and then we name all these things, and they all happen to have Ea in them when we're talking about the account of creation. And Ea is one of the ancient names for one of the gods of creation, wisdom, and water. Now, as an example to some of the words we have in our everyday vocabulary, we have tear, which is of course an act of the water, to any act of the water reference, or a plus expressed active reference, a tear. And when you know Ea has something to do with water, tear makes a lot more sense. Now, when you think of creation, truth, or wisdom going along with the waters, or you say, what does that mean? If it was creation and you manifested, expressed, active notion or nature, that's not just what something is or what something could be, that's what it means. Now, on a wisdom or creation level, you could say the word search. The sea of possibility in this reference could be a subject expressed action referencing an unseen or concept here. So when you search for wisdom or you search for something, those are movements in the water. And then the word heart is that which pumps the water through the blood and keeps you alive. And it's the heart, the scrambled word earth. It's all so magical and beautiful when you see it, that if you can just get over all the pain and heartache we've all been put throughout our lives, at least try to start moving away from letting it control you, we can really overcome this huge obstacle that is facing humanity right now. I've already made this video way longer than I planned on. I hope that explains why I'm breaking down the Bible. And one last thing, if you add the word Genesis up, it ends up being 78. And then if you add those together, it's 15. Or when you turn 15 into its letter form, it's AE, 1-5, which is Ea, turned around. So Genesis is the account of creation. Think about all this stuff, and if it just seems to you like it could all just be a coincidence, I don't know how else to help you if you have your mind made up. But it's my responsibility to keep speaking the truth. Till next time, peace and God bless.